All good things have to come to an end eventually. Jayden Daniels' Iron Man streak, it's over. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Full Command Show. My name is Grant Mitchell, and we are here to talk about everything involving the Washington Commanders. And when I say everything, we are especially talking about one man in particular. Mr. Jayden Daniels, quarterback number 5, will miss the first game of his NFL career. He has officially been declared out for this Sunday's contest against the Las Vegas Raiders. We're going to get into all of that, what that means for the offense, specifically the receivers and the offensive line. We're going to talk about the defense and the opportunity they have in front of them, as well as a couple of rookies and a whole lot more. Guys, we got a loaded show coming up, so make sure you hit that like button. To those of you who already have, you guys are awesome. I appreciate you. To those who haven't, go ahead, hit pause. Takes 1 second. You don't even need to hit pause. Just scroll down, press that like button. And if you're new around here, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss out on the daily uploads. Posted a couple of fun, more opinionated videos recently. Now we're going back to the news here, and let's talk about what's going to happen on Sunday. Well, we know Jayden Daniels is going to be in attendance, but he will be on the sideline. It will be Marcus Mariota making the start with Josh Johnson as his backup. This was confirmed by Dan Quinn today after today's practice. Jayden didn't show up for the media portion. He did end up going out later to practice in a limited capacity, did some throwing, did some speed work, but DQ said ultimately they made the decision to save him from himself, put him on the bench, and allow him to rest up ahead of next week's game, which is at the Atlanta Falcons, who are a formidable opponent. And we know Jayden and Michael Penix worked out together before the draft. Obviously, they were draft mates. They both went to Topgolf out in Loudon when the Commanders were doing their pre-draft interviews. So they know each other. They got a little bit of friendly rivalry, but the Falcons do have a squad that Jayden needs to be prepared for. And I would say they are a tougher opponent than the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, as I mentioned, this is the first time in Jayden's career that he is going to be missing a game. He had played in 22 of them, 19 regular season games, 3 postseason games. And I want to harken back to something that I discussed a couple of days ago, which is ESPN's Mina talking about the predicaments that Jayden has put himself in throughout his NFL career. And she said his style of play is unsustainable. And if I can translate that, I don't think she meant reckless in the way that RG3's was, but it's the amount of contact that he takes. Jayden is a lot smarter than RG3. He's a lot more capable of throwing the ball from the pocket, but he does still wind up finding himself in trouble. Last year and this year, through 2 games, Jayden led all NFL quarterbacks in contacts. That's QB hits plus times tackled. Jayden led the league. You look at a player like Lamar Jackson, for how much he runs, he knows how to avoid contact. Lamar's also bigger than Jayden, but he knows how to get out of bounds. He knows how to get down. On this play where Jayden injured his knee, he jumped in the air, got his feet taken out from under him, and flipped end over end. And ironically, it's almost the same body movement is what led to him breaking his rib last year against the Panthers, where he gets tackled, kind of goes down on his head and flips over, and that's where the injury occurs. So it's not what you want for your franchise quarterback to constantly end up in these uncomfortable positions, ones that lead to injuries. A broken rib actually should be a bigger deal than a sprained knee in my mind, but I can also understand why the Commanders are sitting Jayden for this game. But lo and behold, the reins are going to be turned over to Marcus Mariota. That's what we know. I'm going to assume Jayden is back for that Falcons game. And honestly, if the team can walk out of this with a win, then I'll say it's the right decision. If they walk out with a loss, it's probably still the right decision to save Jayden from himself, but I will be feeling pessimistic about this current season moving forward. But that's a conversation for another day. Let's wait and see what happens on Sunday. So Mariota, when called upon last year, did a very good job. And this is the benefit of having one of the highest paid backup quarterbacks in the NFL. It's not like Kirk Cousins, who of course now is a backup, but Mariota, arguably the best backup in the NFL. Heck, he's probably better than Kirk Cousins at this stage of Cousins' career. So when called upon last year, Mariota against the Panthers, after Jayden went down on that opening drive, Mariota played the rest of the game. He went 18 of 23 for 205 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 34 rushing yards. So completion percentage of 78, QBR of 64, played a very good game. The Commanders scored 40 points. They won that game 40-7. There was no need for Jayden to come back. There were no problems. The other time he played the second half of the Week 18 game against the Dallas Cowboys. And Jayden and the offense were horrible in the first half. Jayden had like 30-something passing yards. Mariota comes in the second half, completes 83% of his passes, goes 15 of 18, 161 yards, 2 touchdowns, 56 rushing yards, and a rushing touchdown. So it's only one half of football. If we apply that pace to an entire game, he was going to go for 322 passing yards, 112 rushing yards, 6 total touchdowns while completing 83% of his passes on 8.9 yards per attempt. Had a QBR of 96 in that game. Of course, it is just a half. But the point is, whenever we saw Mariota last year, he did a very good job. And this is what I always say about backup quarterbacks. Legitimate, good backup quarterbacks can play a game and you don't notice a drop-off. Or if you do, they're still playing well. Maybe you're going from in the case of a Josh Allen, a Mahomes, a Lamar, you go from an MVP caliber quarterback to a good quarterback. The other guys who are floating around out there, gosh, I don't even know, your Tyler Huntleys of the world, your Nathan Petermans of the world, your Nick Mullinses, your Josh Dobbses, your Andy Daltons, your Gardner Minshews, those sorts of players. When the backup is in, you can tell. The benefit of paying a backup quarterback like Marcus Mariota is he can come in for one game and play like a starter. Can he play that way for an entire season? No. Otherwise, he would be a starting quarterback. But you saw what happened when Mac Jones had to go fill in for Brock Purdy against the Saints. He throws for 250 yards, 3 touchdowns. 49ers win a road game. Mariota proved that last year, and I do have confidence he can do that against a Raiders defense that has not been good this season. So the hopes and dreams are riding on Mariota's shoulders. It's only week 3. I'm being a bit facetious there, a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but still, Mariota, I'm counting on him to have a good game, and I think he will. And if he doesn't, I don't know how upset I can be because he is a backup, but I do think that he will perform well. Now, while we are talking about Marcus Mariota and the offense, let's talk about an offensive lineman, Mr. Josh Conerly. Conerly's come under a lot of criticism from Commanders fans out there. There have even been some conversations about if he should be benched for Andrew Wiley in this game. Jay Gruden was on a radio show and said that if he were the coach, he would bench Conerly and put Wiley out there. Now, let me just say, I would much rather have Dan Quinn be my coach than Jay Gruden be my coach. No offense to Jay Gruden, but I like what I see now a lot more than what I saw back then. So if DQ decides, and I think he will, but if he decides that Wiley's going to remain on the bench and Conerly's the guy, I will support him in that decision. This is what I really liked. Josh Conerly gave some quotes to the media. They were interviewing him at his locker, and here's what he said. He was talking about his relationship with Laremy Tunsil, and he said, quote, "There's too much to speak on regarding his influence. Apparently, Conerly and Tunsil work out together before practice. He said he feels like that has helped an awful lot, and he said that the things they've been working on, quote, feel good in the game." Now, this is huge to me because although Conerly got the work against the Packers, as did the entire offensive line, and even though he got beat a couple of times by Abdul Carter and Brian Burns in the opener, for him to say things feel good, it's a sign of 2 things. Number one, he still has his confidence because someone didn't ask him, are you still confident in yourself? No, he volunteered that information. And number 2, it feels right. It feels good. We got to keep in mind, he's not only adjusting from college to the NFL, he's adjusting to a new position. Playing left tackle, playing right tackle is totally different. Imagine if you spent your entire, your 9 to 5, your 8 hours a day, you spent like this, okay? And you've been doing that for 5, 6, 7 years, however long you've been at that job. And then someone walks in and says, hey, now you got to stand like this and you got to do everything from this way. You're completely flipping the way that your brain is mapped. The patterns, the pattern recognition, the muscle memory, you're completely flipping it. So for him to say things feel good, that is big to me because if they don't feel good, if he says, I feel uncomfortable, I'm not confident, that's where the issues occur. And that's where I say, okay, maybe we do need Andrew Wiley here. But as long as he feels good, as long as he feels comfortable, I trust this kid. That thing between his ears right there, that mindset up there, seems awesome. He seems like a very intelligent, very accountable person. All the coaches say that he never makes the same mistakes 2 times in a row. So I do believe that as we go through, this is a first-round talent, 6'5", size, lateral agility, can move. I do believe he's going to continue to get better as the season moves on. One more note here before we flip it on over to the defense. I want to talk about Mr. Bill Croskey-Merritt. So he currently has the most rushing yards of any rookie running back in the NFL. That is despite only getting 4 carries last week and a very bad showing from the offense. He still leads the league for all rookies. He's averaging 7.1 yards per carry, which is also the high mark for rookies in his class. For comparison, Ashton Jeanty, who was the 6th pick in the draft, regarded as this generational talent because he is. He ran for like 2,700 yards last year at Boise State. He's gotten 81 yards in 30 carries. That's 2.7 yards per carry. I don't want to blame that all on Jeanty because the offensive line has been atrocious. Jeanty actually leads the NFL in missed tackles forced, which kind of shows you the work that he's doing behind the line of scrimmage. It's like when Saquon was at the Giants and he would average 3.8 yards per carry, but he would be leading the league in missed tackles forced, and they would use him as a receiver, and he would get a bunch of receiving yards because they just couldn't block. So that's kind of where Jeanty finds himself, the situation he finds himself in. But still, you compare that to Bill, who's got 99 yards on 14 carries, 7.1 yards per carry. I am fully expecting to see a heavy dose of Bill and of C-Rod, Chris Rodriguez, in this game. Your starting quarterback is out. It's a defense that isn't great against the run. Their offense as well, they've turned it over a lot. They're going to give you extra possessions. Gino's going to hang in the pocket, might get himself sacked. That forces 3 and outs. Control the clock, home field. They're on a short week. You got 10 days of rest. You got the physical advantage. You're much more rested than they are. I know I'm coincidentally wearing Raiders black right now, but just lean on them. Assert your dominance, assert your will. Let Bill do his thing, and let's see. Let's see what he looks like if he gets 16 carries. Why not? Or let's let him and C-Rod combine for 22, 23 carries. Let's just see what it looks like when you say, you know what, we're putting gas pedal down, we're running right at you, whether it's zone scheme, whether it's gap scheme, we're coming after you, and let's see what happens, because everything we see from Bill, going back to the preseason, training camp, regular season, it's been really good. Now let's flip it on over. Before I get on out of here, I want to talk about the defense. I want to talk about the defense and how they are doing getting after the passer, because this is one of the biggest concerns for this unit, or for this team, this particular unit, the defensive linemen and the edge rushers before the season started. So how has that played out? Well, I want to give a big shout out to Dorance Armstrong, and I've said his name in a couple of videos recently, but it was really incredible what I saw. So I found a chart which charted on one axis was pass rush win rate, and then on the other was double team frequency. Did you know that among all edge rushers, Dorance Armstrong has been double teamed at the 6th highest rate? Some of that does have to do with the offensive lines the Commanders have played, not having to honor standout edge rushers around them. If the Commanders had a Micah Parsons, if they had a Myles Garrett, that probably looks a lot different. But even still, opposing offenses are honoring them and saying, hey, if there's one guy we got to stop, it's that guy right here. The only players who have been double teamed at a greater frequency than Dorance Armstrong are Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, Aiden Hutchinson, TJ Watt, and this one's a little weird, but Joseph Asai. Those 5 players, and then Dorance Armstrong. And despite that, his pass rush win rate average is actually a few percentage points above league average. In fact, his statistics are very similar to Max Crosby, Abdul Carter, and Nick Bosa. So huge shout out to Dorance Armstrong. I actually don't know his contract situation, so I want to look that up right now. It just occurred to me. Let me see what he's at. So when he signed as a free agent with the Commanders, he signed a 3-year, $33 million deal. They had a potential out after last year. Obviously, they did not take it. So this season, he is counting for 10.2 million against the cap. Next season, he's still under contract to count for 12.4 million against the cap. So obviously $12 million next year is not peanuts by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not 47 million for Micah Parsons, not 41 for TJ Watt's, not 40 for Myles Garrett. It's none of that. And if his production is at Max Crosby level, at Abdul Carter level, Crosby's also making in the high 30s. Carter was the number 3 pick in the draft. And it's just Dorance Armstrong. And I don't say that disrespectfully. It's a $12 million. That's like an average contract for an edge rusher. And he's doing his thing. So huge salute to Dorance Armstrong. The interior guys, Kinlaw and Payne, they're right about league average. Kinlaw's a little above, Payne's a little below as far as pass rush win rate, but nothing really to report on there. On the other hand, Von Miller, legend of the NFL, Super Bowl MVP, top top 10 now, top 10 maybe in all-time sacks or just outside the top 10. I forget where he is exactly. Should I look that up? Why not? All-time sack leaders in the NFL, because I want to make sure that I give him his just due, because Von Miller's that dude. So Von Miller is 16th. He's at 130 career sacks to get to the top 10. He needs 7.5 more, where he will tie Richard Dent and John Randall. And then he needs 8 to get into number 10. He will be just behind DeMarcus Ware, Terrell Suggs, and Jason Taylor, and Michael Strahan as well, who's up in 6th. And he would need 11 to get there. So he's probably not going to get that done, but he would be very close to them. Well, if Von Miller does want to break into that top 10, he's got to get sacks. And the problem is right now, not only is he not doing that, he's not a threat on the field. And we're only 2 games in. I get it. He's 36 years old. It's a new environment for him. He's not playing tons of snaps. I'm not calling him out. I want to make that clear. I'm simply relaying some of the statistics. Von Miller's pass rush win rate this season is 0%. You can say that he's been doing his job. I would have to go break down the film. You can say that he's been part of mush rushes. You can say that he's been holding contain. Again, I would have to go back and break down the film, look at every play. But his pass rush win rate is 0%. And for everyone who is on this chart that I was looking at, I'm sure you have to meet a certain number of snaps to be qualified, certain number of pass rush reps. He was the only one at 0%. Hasn't won a single rep based on that metric alone. That's despite being double teamed about 5 percentage points less than the league average. So the question that I want to put out there, and again, I'm not calling out Von Miller because, let's be honest, a 36-year-old who signs in the preseason or late into training camp, whenever it was, he should not be expected to be the savior. So the question I want to put out there is, was it a mistake by the Commanders to view him not as the savior, but as someone who could come in and contribute with 6, 7, 8 sacks? I think in their minds, they thought Lou was going to get 5 to 8 sacks. Wise is going to get 5 to 8. Kinlaw is going to get 4 to 5. Payne's going to get 4 to 5. Miller's going to get 5 to 8. Jacob Martin's going to get 5 to 8. And they just kind of rolled with that assumption, and it'll be this great committee. Well, Dietrich Wise is now out. Von Miller not quite producing at that level. The remedy to this has been signing Preston Smith, who, while I'm excited to see him back with Washington, he was not on an NFL roster for a reason. At 32 years old, teams looked at him and said, hey, based on your recent body of work, what we are predicting for you, what we're projecting, we just don't think you're worth rostering. So this edge room, it's going to be a concern pretty much all year, because it feels like when you get to the big games, you just aren't confident in their ability to get home. Against the Eagles offensive line, they struggle with the Packers, who are playing 2 backups. Against those really good offensive lines in the high leverage moments, are they going to be able to win on their own? It's going to take great schematics. I don't quite know, but I am just putting this out there. But as long as we have Dorance Armstrong, you know that we're going to be just fine, because that man, Dorance Armstrong for president right now, that's the way I'm feeling. But guys, that's going to do it for today's video. I'm going to go ahead and head on out of here. Before I do, make sure you hit the like button if you enjoyed this. Hit the subscribe button as well if you're new around here. Go to the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on everything, particularly the whole Jayden Daniels situation. Are you happy he's resting? Do you expect to see him against the Falcons? And I will see you in the next one, guys. As I always say, have a great day.